Oh.
That I watched one.
Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our savage take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast.
Hello, everyone,
Hello.
and welcome to this week's episode of the
SaVeg podcast. Look at us finishing each other's sentences.
Damn,
We
like-
spend a little bit too much time together.
What are you talking about, Rose? It's been at least 2 days since I've seen you. So I don't know what
Every time me and Daniel see each other, which is probably usually like the day after the last time, we're always like, oh, it's been so long. It's been too long.
It's been years.
It's been years. It feels like years.
Damn, guys.
And tomorrow we're heading off to Costa Rica.
God damn, are you excited, Rose?
I'll be excited as hell.
Let me guess, you're super prepared and ready.
I'm super unprepared and not ready at all, as always.
This is the story of Rose's life, guys. Every time she goes on a trip, she's always
Every
like,
time
I'm not ready.
panicking. It's just a disaster. I don't know why, but this is just how I am. You're just going to have to accept it.
God damn.
Anyways,
Real.
so the next couple of episodes will be pre-recorded.
Yep.
Because we will be, enjoying our time in Costa Rica.
We'll be enjoying the
Oh,
sunshine.
I'm so excited. I've never been, and it's going to be so fun. So it's going to be fun. Anyway, before we jump in, guys, make sure you follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. You get bonus content every single month, and you get ad-free content, which is great. And also, every episode you get on a timely fashion, so the week
Yes.
before everybody else.
Yep.
So make sure you check it out. The link is always in the show notes and the description.
Yes, guys. Check
And
it out.
shall we jump into the stories?
We shall, guys. So this first story,
I pulled it up because I
Yeah.
think Daniel will just love it.
I will probably love this.
So basically, I saw this on the news, and I guess they have now launched the world's largest cruise ship, which has arrived in Miami. So I don't know if this has ever been, I don't know if this is, I think this is new. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So the Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas is the new world's largest cruise ship. And I have a lot of feelings about this.
Yeah.
Because A, I think generally I don't like cruises.
Yeah.
And B, do we really fucking need this? I mean, just have a look, Daniel. It is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Here we go. A highly anticipated newcomer towers along the hustle and bustle of the traffic of Miami's busy coast. And for good reason. Port Miami's newest 1,198 foot long residence was recently crowned the world's largest cruise ship.
It's just,
Here are the 10 details you should know
Yeah.
about the massive floating resort, from its wild and amenities to its controversies. Number 1, let's start with the obvious. Now, the biggest cruise ship on the sea. Apparently, guys, it can accommodate up to nearly 10,000 people in total, specifically 7,600 guests, and then I guess the rest would be crew and everything. That is insane. That's a lot of people.
insane.
10,000 people.
oh God, I don't, it sounds like a dystopian nightmare to me. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm sure it could be fun.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about cruise ships,
What
guys.
is the thing with cruises? Why do people like them? I don't get it. Have you ever been on one?
Never.
I've been on one, and it was like a short one. It was like from I think it was from like Florida. I think it was from Orlando to Bahamas or something.
Yeah.
And it was just okay. I mean, it wasn't the Icon of the Seas.
I mean, it's just insane. Like,
there's
guys
a
were,
literal like a water park on it.
yeah, at the top. There's multiple. It looks like that's a water park.
Yeah.
That's because if you think about it, like, you just have to remember the magnitude of like 10,000 people.
And all of the shit.
Yeah. Like,
And it's like floating in the ocean.
Yeah.
That also scares me. I think the idea of this gigantic, like huge functioning like device that's huge. It's like housing 10,000 people. Like that. Like, come on.
I feel like the thing that scares me, and maybe there's people that are like engineers that know better than I do. I just feel like it feels sketchy. Like it's
right.
It's
heavy as fuck.
Yeah, it's this huge ass thing. That's obviously it is buoyant, and they do all their fucking research and shit. But I'm sorry, guys, and I've said this before in other podcast episodes. I don't like it because I don't want to be out in the ocean on a big ship.
Exactly.
That is like
are there enough lifeboats on board?
This is the number one question, guys. Or is this
is this going to be a Titanic situation?
Exactly. Is it considered an indestructible ship? I don't know. I don't want to get on it. I don't want to test it.
Unsinkable ship?
Yes, the unsinkable. Mm-hmm.
You know what happens when you call something unsinkable?
It sink. I know it's like, honestly, it's like Murphy's Law, but like that was so like dumb. Like, yes, this is the best. And this always fucking happens. This airplane is the best airplane ever. It's uncrashable. Next thing you know, it fucking crashes. Like, this is unsinkable. Yeah, it's crazy. Apparently it cost over blah, 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 blah. The cruise ship had only begun construction on, I guess over $2 billion.
You know, my biggest thing about this, the thing that bothers me the most, it's just like, in an era where we are trying to figure out how to tackle climate change, do we really need this massive, extravagant, probably climate disaster sort of ship? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's probably not good for the environment. Mm-hmm. It's like the height of consumeristic, just unnecessary, trying to boast to your friends that you've been on this giant ship sort of thing.
I think that's going to be part of the pull is like people are going to want to book, like people that already like cruises will book it, but other people will book it just to go on the biggest ship. You know what I mean?
Do like social media content.
Of course.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, apparently in July 2023, images of the icon of the sea circulated on X, formerly Twitter, and it quickly became a divisive, yeah. I don't know. Divisive topic on social media, incurring titles like monstrosity and hell on water. That was me. Number 4. Oh, the icon of the sea is anticipating plenty of travelers despite its haters. I don't know why this is an important point.
I feel like they just want to do like a top 10 something.
Yeah.
So 7,600 travelers can dine and drink at the 40 restaurants, bars, and lounges. 40. It's like a tiny little city.
It is.
Why don't you just go to a city? Like, this is what I don't get. Okay? Go to a city.
Yeah.
What is it's literally, it's just a ship. Like, I don't understand.
So the ship has 7 pools, 9 hot tubs. And it's not cheap either. I guess, well.
No, of course it's not cheap.
Fares start at $1,910 per person for an interior cabin. And I'm guessing that's US
day. But like, how long is the?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't say.
Yeah, but have you also heard there's another thing that's going on right now? I don't know if this is like part of I don't know. Basically, there's like a 9-month cruise. Yeah. It's like around the world, and like some people are like talking about it on TikTok and stuff. And 9 months.
You know what? It's interesting. I don't know if it's the same thing. Speaking of cruises and all this shit, yeah, it was like somebody was telling me about it. It was similar, like a 9-month, or it was like a year.
Yeah,
cruise.
something like this.
And basically, it's for people that work remotely, and they can go on this cruise, and you pay like I don't know, maybe it costs like $20,000 for the whole year or something, or $30,000 for the whole year.
Yes.
And you go there, and you get like your food included and everything else. And actually, like for some people who are doing cost benefit, like if you can work remotely, it actually ends up cheaper.
I think that was an older story.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's obviously a similar kind of concept. But I think maybe that one was more geared toward people that actually wanted to like replace life on the ship. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Do you want to be on like this one, the one that I saw? I don't think the cost was actually cheaper than living life on land. But like, I mean, I guess it would make sense for some people, but like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. What are your thoughts on cruises? I personally, this is just my own thing. you're never going to catch me on a cruise.
Never say never, Daniel. Well, what if your future boyfriend loves cruises?
Oh God. Well,
is that a red flag?
That's a red flag. You know, Rose, it takes a lot to date me in the beginning. So if they tell me that they, like,
well, okay, wait. Loves cruises, never traveled before. Like, loves cruises, but has traveled a lot.
Okay.
Or never traveled before.
Oh, I would have to take the loves cruises, but has traveled a lot.
Oh, interesting, Daniel.
But just because they love a cruise doesn't mean we're going to go on one together. It can be, you know what? It can be one of those things. It's like, you know what? You go on your cruise.
Enjoy your gay cruise.
With your friends.
Maybe he likes cruises because it's a gay cruise thing.
I know. I never got that either. Maybe I should go on a gay cruise.
Maybe it's so fun.
God damn, I'll be the single Sally on the cruise.
I mean, okay, here's the thing is, maybe a cruise that has like a purpose, like a gay cruise or I've heard of a vegan cruise. I'd probably go on a vegan cruise. Definitely not for 9 months.
No.
But
See you later, Rose.
It could be interesting. It could be like, you make a bunch of friends, it's like a little community, walkable community.
I just do not want to be
on water
in the open sea on a fucking huge ass ship.
Oh God, especially this one.
I know, like
guys,
it looks
look,
like
you
a
have
monstrosity.
to look. You have to look this up. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's just so. Oh God, it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like it's like a Black Mirror episode.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't get good vibes from it.
I don't.
I feel like something bad is gonna happen. Guys.
I really don't. Imagine if here's another fucking crazy thing. Imagine if there's a crazy person on board. Okay, that. You're stuck on a boat with this crazy person.
Imagine there's a couple crazy people and they start shooting everyone up.
I'm sure they have security.
You're stuck on a boat with them, Rose.
I'm sure they don't allow guns on the boat.
Yeah, but what if it's multiple shooters?
No, but I'm sure when you're getting on the boat, they check your.
Of course they would, but you don't think you can sneak that shit in? People also check for shit getting on planes, and people still do shit on planes.
That's true. Anything else on there?
Nothing of interest. They're just like
There's
random...
a Surfside neighborhood, one of 8, which is a go-to for young families. So you can there's like a literal neighborhood on this gigantic monstrosity of a boat.
Well, it would have districts, I'm guessing.
This is crazy.
Like it's actually
like it's giving Snowpiercer.
It
you know what I mean? It's like a whole like society in a boat. If you haven't seen Snowpiercer, it's basically this movie where it's like a dystopian future where outside is supposed to be like way too cold and like the climate is not fit for humans. So anyone that's like left that like survived, they like live on this like train and then there's like a whole society on the train where like some people are like the high class and some people are the low class. It's
and
really
the train
good.
has to keep going for some reason because if it stops, it will like freeze as well. Or something.
It's really good, you guys.
Yeah.
So definitely recommend watching it.
There's actually a TV series, a Netflix series as well.
Have you seen that one? Is it good?
I saw the first couple of. I think there's like.
But
2
do you think
seasons.
the movie's better?
I haven't seen the movie.
Daniel, you haven't seen the movie?
Mm-mm.
How can you be talking about Snowpiercer if you haven't seen the movie?
Damn, well, it's the same
Why's my
concept.
voice this loud?
It's the same concept as with the TV
Daniel,
show.
no, you have to watch the movie. That's the original. Haven't you ever heard the original's usually always the best?
This is true.
And it's the same director as Parasite. Mm-hmm.
That means it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
God damn.
And Okja. You've seen Okja, right?
Yeah, I've seen Okja.
Okay, thank you. I almost beat you up there for a second.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys.
I thought another fun story for us.
Well, let us know if you would go on the world's biggest cruise.
Maybe we'll see you there.
If you think that we are a bunch of haters and we don't understand the cruise life.
Yeah,
maybe explain to us the cruise life.
# cruise life is not for me.
Okay. Oh, God, Daniel. What is this?
So I thought it would be really fun for me to bring up a story while me and Rose are just about to get on a plane tomorrow.
I was just going to say, like, why bring this up now?
Yeah.
Okay, read me
Apparently, also, too, everyone's talking in my office. You know, we talked last week about the story of the door, like, blowing off the aircraft. Yeah. There's, like, video footage that's gone viral on TikTok now or something.
Sure.
Of this, like, fucking thing blowing off.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, recently there was a...
Adding on to that
onto that trauma, as we're about to board a flight. Actually, multiple flights.
Why are you doing this to me?
For fun.
Oh, my...
So, this one isn't that bad. So a Japanese domestic flight returns to the airport with a crack on the cockpit window. So I guess what had happened was, I mean, it's not like such a big story. I just thought I'd bring it up for Rose's entertainment and enjoyment, you know. Basically, from the sounds of it, there was a flight that was about to leave. They were getting ready and everything like this. And then it had to return to the airport for repairs because they had noticed that there was like a crack in one of the cockpit windows.
Okay.
And you know the cockpit's where the pilots are, and there's could be all kinds of things happening
God
with
damn.
a crack in the window, Rose. If the window smash, it's gonna suck someone out.
Oh my God! And that's it. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, that's
so they found the problem and they addressed it,
and they fixed it, and then they took off. You know.
Actually, you know what's funny? So you know the whole that airplane with the door breaking.
Yep, the drama.
My dad and my brother were going to fly to Mexico City, and then their flight got canceled. Well, it got delayed because I guess it was the same
plane.
Maybe maybe not the same plane, but the same type of plane, maybe. So they were doing like some kind of not recall, but maybe like they were trying to do like a, so like they had to leave the next day because they were doing something with the planes because clearly there's something wrong with those planes.
God damn.
Oh God.
That's scary as hell. Like that actually
so
like
fucking scary.
I know.
Airplane crashed. Oh no, we're not talking about this.
No. Because as you guys know, we're going to Costa Rica very soon.
Well, have you seen that movie, Alive? I think I talked to you about it. It's about, it's based on a true story and it happened like in the 80s or something where there was a rugby team from.
You did tell me about it. Yeah.
Yes. There was a rugby team from like, I don't know, Uruguay or something. And they were flying somewhere across the Andes. And then they got into this plane crash and they fucking like landed in the middle of the fucking Andes, which is like, in the middle of the winter. And it's like they landed in snow. A bunch of people died. And then it's like about how like a bunch of them survived. Oh, you need to watch it.
I need to watch it.
Not anytime near going on a flight.
Yes. Yeah. That's not what I want to be doing.
Oh God.
Luckily, I don't think we're flying over any mountain ranges.
I mean, as if we would survive otherwise either.
I know.
Jesus Christ, Daniel.
Anyway, switching gears, guys. I thought it would be fun. Well, not fun, but interesting to talk about. So I guess this year, what be happening this year? It's an important year in the United States of America.
There's an election.
You knew about that, Roses?
Yeah.
So
every 4 years there's an election.
I want to just.
Are we talking about the fact that Joe Biden is like on the verge of death?
And he's running again.
I genuinely cannot understand. He's, first of all, not just the fact that he's 81, okay? But the fact that this man looks like he is literally surviving off of meds.
Yes.
Like, I genuinely, he does not look well, my friends, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be ageist, but he does not look well. Why are you not sitting with your grandkids just enjoying life?
Exactly, because imagine how demanding and taxing it is to be the president.
Oh
or
my God,
prime minister of a
seriously. You're
country.
flying all the time. He looks like he's going to collapse any moment.
So the story, guys, is President Joe Biden's, he has a record age of 81, and his wife is saying this is an asset.
How in God's name is this an asset?
I know. So apparently Joe Biden at 81 is already the oldest American leader in history. And he's been facing a lot of questions from voters about his decision to seek another term.
Yes.
Because it actually is crazy. Because I guess if he's 81 now, when does he turn 82? Probably this year.
Yeah.
And that means if he gets another term, if he does get elected, he'll finish that term at 86.
Oh my God. And again, if he was like a vibrant 81-year-old, then we could be having a different discussion. He is not well, my friends. He is not well.
So I guess his wife was saying, or was talking about it. He has wisdom. He has experience. He knows every leader on the world stage. He's lived history. He knows history. He's thoughtful in his decisions. He is the right man and right person for the job at this moment in history.
No, sorry, nobody likes you. Get the fuck off. Sorry.
I know. Yeah. So,
and you know the controversial thing about this, and the bad thing about this is that Joe Biden is not very popular. Yeah. Okay. Especially right now during the whole Israel-Palestine situation.
Right.
Young voters do not like him. He lost all of the Arab voters, which is probably a good percentage.
Yeah.
So he is so unpopular right now. So, and he's old as fuck. So if he runs again, that means all of the other Democratic potential candidates are not going to be running if he runs, right? And of course, the Democratic people are going to push Joe Biden because he's been in this game for so long. He knows everybody, whatever. Yeah. So they're going to push for him, whatever. He's pushing for it. So basically, if he runs against someone like Trump, for example,
who is also running,
fucking running.
How is that even possible?
I know. But if he runs with Trump, a lot of people are saying Trump might win. Because Joe Biden is so unpopular. So if somebody else runs, and the same thing happened with Hillary Clinton and because it was either Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders was very popular amongst voters. So a lot of people think if Bernie Sanders actually ran instead of Hillary Clinton, the Democrats would have won.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But instead, they pushed for Hillary Clinton, who has been, a politician for a long time. Obviously, Bill has been in the picture, so she's kind of like part of the gang,
Yeah.
But nobody liked Hillary Clinton, so that's why fucking Trump won.
But this is the thing. The thing that I don't get. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about this situation.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Number one, I don't think it's being ageist, and we've talked about this before.
No, it's not ageist.
What I think is an issue is like somebody like Joe, like the fact that he's 80, both him and Trump, both of them. Trump is in the same category. He's like fucking, I don't know, 77.
But
78.
I will say, at least Trump looks a little bit more alive than Joe Biden.
This is true.
Okay, I'm no fan of Trump, believe me, but like he looks a lot more alive, a lot more feisty than Joe Biden.
Yeah, but. Where my argument lies is like, first of all, guys, we have a finite time on this planet, right? As individuals. First of all, why do you not want to be retired?
I don't understand.
And spending time with your loved
like,
ones.
You have to be a sociopath if you keep
Like,
wanting to work at 80 years old.
Exactly. You're literally not going to get this time back. Like this time, you're done. Like,
but it's like this is his whole thing. Like I think he just wants like the legacy of being a 2-term president. That's what people are saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. A big deal. Like,
but who cares? You're going to die.
I know. And then another thing too is this is where it comes into play, like the question of age and whether or not there should be a minimum or maximum age in terms of what you're like running for president. And the reason I say this is because like someone like Joe, and like, again, guys, don't come for me for saying this, but like someone that's 81, I mean, the thing is they, you know, just knowing how long people live, like they don't have that much more time on the planet, right? Like maybe he'll live to, if he's lucky, like 100, you know, like maybe, but usually probably around 90, like early 90s. So he has like maybe like another 10 years, right?
Oh God.
Somebody like that, I have a problem with making like not making decisions. Like maybe he could make some good decisions, but his decisions are not really going to impact him for that long. You know what I mean? Like if he does something like around the climate change, around all this other stuff, like for like that is against, you know, certain things, it's not really going to impact him that much. Like he's done, you know, like it's like, you know, like I love all my grandparents and stuff, but they're like retired. They're not in the workforce anymore. Like, you know, they all have, you know, decent pensions and are, you know, living their lives. Like a lot of the stuff that's going on now doesn't impact them as much. Like it still does, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like when we're talking about politics and who's making decisions, like personally I feel like it should be someone that's a bit younger. I'm not saying that they have to be like super young and like 30 or whatever, but I'm like, you're making decisions for a country that are lifelong and impactful, you know. So I don't know, I just feel
like the fact that he's so old, it's like it's not an asset because, you know, are you even aware of current issues? Like, do you even understand?
Exactly.
And like, I mean, this is just us being naive and actually thinking the politicians have our best interests at heart, which they don't. So that's, you know, he's running just for his own, you know, sake. So it's not really about the greater good. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
But
And then this is the thing. Like, I mean, it does beg to question. I'm like, okay, well, if he can run and be 81 years old and be a president, like, you know, how much of it is like just a figurehead? You know what I mean? Like,
no, he's basically just like a face of the party.
Someone to prance around and like, do the shit and like all that stuff. And then
oh God. I just can't. I just feel like
So his birthday was, hang on, it said it here. He celebrated his 81st birthday, November 20th, 2023. So when the actual
election is, he's gonna be 82.
He'll be 82 years old.
82, guys. 80 motherfucking 2.
I'm sorry, guys. Maybe I'm not the most ambitious person, whatever. I can tell you right now, when I'm 82, I will not be running for prime minister. I will be retired. I won't be working anymore.
Will you run for prime minister when you're 70?
Maybe. 70. Pardon me. I'll be young as hell at 70,
God.
you know? And then also, can someone explain to me how the fuck Trump is running?
Isn't he like in court?
I thought you know what happened to all these charges?
I don't know.
There was all this whole scandal, and then yet he's running again and is like a presidential
Wasn't
candidate.
he gonna go to prison? Like, I don't understand.
Can someone please explain to me?
I don't really understand either.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
And it was also like directly to do with election fraud.
Yes. Oh my God.
So how can you possibly be running again? Like, shouldn't you be banned?
Exactly.
Or maybe he is going to be banned. Maybe he's just talking up his ass. I don't know.
I don't know, because I pulled up this thing where it showed like presidential candidates, and it was like he was on there.
Oh my God.
So I was just like,
I guess like maybe he hasn't been charged. I don't know.
Like I just don't get how he can be running. Like maybe he's not fully running. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Oh my God. So right now there's only 3 potential Democratic candidates and then 6 potential Republican candidates, apparently.
Damn.
So, and some people dropped out.
Yep.
Interesting. So yeah, we're going to probably see Joe Biden lose. That's my prediction.
Oh, can you imagine if
and
Trump
we're
gets
going to have a
reelected?
Trump presidency again.
Oh my God. You know what, guys? If you want to make yourselves feel really smart, watch some of the Trump rallies, like the old ones. I remember watching
where they like interview the
Trumpers. They're called like Trumpers, right?
The Trumper. I don't know. The Trump loving people. I don't know.
Yeah. And honestly, like some of them are so ridiculous. Like they were like, I don't know. They're just like interviewing these people and they have no clue. They're just there.
I know.
They're there for the sense of community. They're there for like, whatever, this
whatever
bullshit.
It's like a cult.
It is. It's like a cult following behind Trump. And I'm like, even, what's crazy to me too is a lot of the like Hispanic community, which he's been very like vocal about like building a wall to Mexico.
Yeah.
All
Do they
this
like
shit.
him?
Well, a lot of them have voted for him.
Well, here's the thing. People always vote against their actual
best interest.
What their best interest should be.
Yeah.
So it's not too surprising.
True.
Like,
I
this
wonder
happens
why
all
that
the
is.
time. I don't know. I think it's just like maybe they think that, like, for example, like conservative Black people, maybe they think like, oh, like if they agree with conservative values in terms of, oh, like I can make it in this world.
So basically, we all can.
Exactly. Or like kind of like they believe in the hierarchical structure, so they kind of just like go with it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain.
I also heard that there's some element of it, and I could be wrong, guys, but I remember reading something in an article or whatever where they talked about I can't remember the term, but it's basically like immigrants that move to a country and then they become like assimilated into that country, and then they almost look down on immigrants.
That's kind of what I meant to say. So it's kind of like, oh, like if you're like I'm like a model immigrant, or you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's kind of what I mean as well.
And you get this like false sense of like I'm better than these, and by voting with other people, even though it's against my minority interests, I feel like I'm part of that community.
Yeah, I think there's a sense of that.
Yeah, and I dissociate almost with my other
identity.
people.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of like, oh, whatever. For whatever reason, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like a lot of people do that. Like I feel like a perfect example is like Candace Owens.
Exactly. So So then, because there's benefits, right? As much as it's bad to say, there's benefits to kind of like abandoning your tribe.
Yeah.
Like for example, like during the Korean when Japan invaded Korea, there was like some Koreans that obviously most Koreans were like fighting for Korean liberation.
Yeah.
But there were Koreans that just like was in bed with the Japanese people,
right?
And then they just kind of abandoned their country because then they can succeed in their own right, right?
Yeah.
So they'll do well, but they're kind of like abandoning. I mean, that's an extreme example, but you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like that kind of mentality, maybe.
But I think that's what happened again with the whole Trump election. I think a lot of people in the Hispanic community again that have assimilated that everything else.
They were like, well, I did well.
Exactly.
I'm an immigrant, so what's
I did
wrong
well.
with you?
Exactly.
I came here legally.
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Why are you?
And
it's like they almost forget about like what had happened in
or
the
like
past.
Why some people might be desperate to like flee. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It'd be crazy.
Well, we'll have to see. It might be a repeat of 2016.
I know. You know what, guys? Another thing to look up while we're on this topic, the infamous debate between Trump and Biden, and I remember it was like blowing up everywhere, and some people were like,
"You mean the one that happened
last
last election
in 2020, back in 2020." And before the
you mean during when Trump was running for re-election, right?
Potentially, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes, that's what it was, because 2016 was Trump and Hillary.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then Trump got elected. Then he's running for re-election, and that's when this infamous.
So which part are you? Are you just talking about the whole interview, or is there a specific part?
Well, there's a bunch of parts where they're just like yelling over each other.
Oh my God.
And everyone was like, it just
so
felt
painful.
like two grandparents just like fighting.
Seriously, this is another thing. It's just like, why are they so old? Please.
But also the bickering. None of them presented their argument, or neither of them. Sorry, none of them. Neither of them presented their argument in a particularly articulate way.
No.
They just kind of shut each other down. Trump was yelling over top of
Oh my God.
Biden.
It's just like
Biden
a
was
fucking
like,
show.
It was a shit show.
It's a fucking gong show, as the Canadians say.
You know what? I didn't realize that's a very uniquely Canadian
I didn't know either until you told me.
Yeah. I was like, I think I was in the UK, and I was like, yeah, oh my God, this is turning into such a gong show. And everyone's like, the fuck are you talking about?
We should tell people Canadian slang. That would be funny.
I know. And you just don't realize.
So guys, gong show is basically when it's like a shit show. Like, like a bunch of gongs, or is that what? That's such a weird term.
So I think the reason that they call it a gong show is because if you think about like a gong, right? It's like that big metal thing, and when you hit it, right? Well, if there was like 50
Yeah.
gongs in this room and everyone's hitting them at different times,
It'd be like
it
a
would be
disaster.
chaotic.
But
yeah.
then the reason why I'm confused is because why is a Canadian term about a gong? Like we don't use gongs. That's not like a thing.
You mean you guys don't have a Canadian gong in your house?
You have a Canadian gong, Daniel?
Yes, I have it.
No, you're such a liar.
It's part of a aesthetic in every Canadian home to have this gong.
Guys, Daniel does this very annoying thing, which he just demonstrated for us right now, where he lies. And a lot of people, when they don't know him very well, they will believe every word he says. And then I have to sit there and be like, no, he's bullshitting.
But sometimes I'm not bullshitting, Rose.
You're bullshitting 99% of the time. And you know what they say about the boy who cried wolf?
What do they say?
Nobody will believe you when you're telling the truth.
God damn, is that why you never believe me now?
Exactly. Because you lie all the time. You're always crying wolf.
You'd be mean as hell.
What's the
You
next
know that,
story?
Rose? Give me a second. I want to have a sip of my tea.
Oh, God damn.
God damn it.
Oh, God. What is this true crime story, Daniels?
It'd be true crime as hell and it'd be sad as hell, guys. God
Oh my God, this is so sad, Daniel. Why
I
you
know.
gotta
Actually,
pick
this is
something
actually-
like this?
This is actually really depressing.
This is so sad.
Okay, guys. So basically,
Brace yourselves
brace
for this
yourself.
fucking story that Daniel picked. Blame him.
It'd be dark as hell.
He's fucking giving us all kinds of, lovely stories.
Damn, the presidential things are
As
very interesting
always.
and topical, Roses.
Plane crashes, fucking. Okay, read this, Daniel.
God damn. So a woman, guys, was charged. A Pennsylvania woman was charged with killing her boyfriend's toddler, who, after she spent months researching "quote unquote" accidental poisoning. Officials say.
Oh my God. And it was a 1-year-old.
I know, this is what's so sad. Oh God! It says the girl who died in June had ingested batteries, a metal screw, and water beads.
Oh, so basically, she just force fed her
all kinds of things.
Oh my God!
This kind of reminds me of that documentary of that poor.
The one that you always mention,
Yeah.
the Gabrielle Fernandez.
Yeah. What? Okay, first of all, guys. Okay.
Why?
Why? First of
I
all,
know.
and a 1-year-old, like a fucking 1-year-old.
I don't know. Like, why? Is it because? Like, why?
I know. It doesn't make any
God,
sense.
people are just so evil. That's it. We're just going to talk about this sad story.
The details of this case are heartbreaking. It's hard to fathom someone taking deliberate steps to harm a completely helpless child, then mislead investigators about what happened. The investigation shows that for months, the defendant conducted meticulous research on how certain substances harm children.
But, like, what is wrong with people? God, this person did months of research, searching up the internet for information about household products. I mean, this is another thing, which I'm glad she's this stupid, but I'm like, are you really this fucking dumb?
I know.
It's like you're going to spend months searching shit up on your phone.
Yeah.
And you think you're going to get away with this shit? Her searches included beauty products that are poisonous to kids and medications leading to cause accidental poisoning deaths in children.
It's so fucked up.
Like, are you so fucking evil and so fucking dumb at the same time?
I know. This is another thing that gets me. There was another case that happened earlier, like last year.
That
or the
guy
year.
that killed his wife?
Yeah, and he had put it all in his search history. It was like how to dispose of a body and all this crazy
seriously.
shit. And then sometimes I get a little bit paranoid. Not that I'm plotting to kill somebody, but sometimes you watch a Netflix documentary.
Yeah, and you're searching something.
And you'll research something. You'll be like, does that because they'll be like, oh, I don't know, something causes this to happen in the body. And you'll be like, is that true?
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
Google it. And then I'm like, fuck, I should not be Googling this shit on my phone, guys.
Well, as long as you don't have some random person dying next to you.
This is true. Oh my God. This is very
guys,
true.
If something happens to me.
Don't check my search history, guys. Please do not. Roses.
Oh God, it's so sad. But again, why? For what reason? What is this 1-year-old doing to you?
Exactly.
I do not understand. I think my guess is that it was her boyfriend's toddler.
It's her boyfriend.
That she has some kind of jealousy with the fact that he had a child with another person.
Or that. And maybe she was like, her boyfriend is giving more attention to the child.
Oh God, I know.
this
That's another weird fucking thing people have.
And
It's a
people
fucking child.
I know. And people do this. They're like,
Even with their own kids, some people.
Yes.
Some people are crazy. Have you seen that movie Precious? That I watched one time years ago when when it first came out. It was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God, it was so
bad.
fucking dark, guys.
Yeah. Not for the faint-hearted.
No, definitely do not watch it. But to that point, you're right.
That story was basically about a mom that was basically the daughter was named Precious, and like the mom was so abusive to her.
Oh my God.
And basically the mom was like jealous because her husband, aka the daughter's father, was like sexually abusing her daughter.
Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, you're
my God.
You're coming in here trying to get my man away from me and stuff."
And it's like, this is a child.
This is your fucking daughter.
And this is your fucking daughter.
Yeah.
And this is like sexual abuse.
But this just shows you how, and I'm sure that's not it's
not common, obviously, this type of.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is it's not common, like in terms of like, there's a lot of people doing it, but it does happen. You know,
it does happen.
So I think like in these kind of cases, it doesn't explain or get, what am I trying to say? Like, excuse the behavior.
Of course not.
But it shows like, yeah, that could be a big thing. And like how fucked up, like I'm just trying to like fathom like how fucked up it would be for me to actually get mad at my child because my partner is doing that. I'll be like, oh, and you're trying to take him away from me.
It's so fucked.
You're a skanky biatch, all this stuff. It's like, and then she ended up having kids with him as well.
Oh God, I can't.
Oh
I can't.
my God.
I can't. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
And then I think she also contracts like, because the dad was like, obviously he's sleeping with a lot of people, I think. And she ended up getting like AIDS from him.
Guys,
like,
it's a disturbing movie.
It's so
disturbing
fucked up.
movie.
But it was if it was well done. Like the movie was well done.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was very good in terms of like how it was done, but it's not for the faint-hearted.
God damn, it definitely is not for the faint-hearted. Roses.
What be next, Daniels? What be next?
Damn, what this be? Another fun one coming from the United States of America, guys.
You love these fun stories, Daniel.
That
make me just have so much faith in humanity
and faith in the United States of America.
Stop.
So, guys, this story, the headline is Republican governors in 15 states are turning down food money for 8 million children.
Oh, doesn't surprise me one bit.
God damn.
Which is very sad.
I know. It's just crazy. So Republican governors in more than a dozen states are shutting out more than 8 million children from a new federal food assistance program to support lower income families. 35 states, including 13 states with, I don't know what GOP means.
Oh, I think it's like Republican like type of people.
Okay. Governors have enrolled in the plan, which provides an additional $120 per child to buy food during, which is like not that much, $120 per child to buy food during summer months when such assistance is not available in schools and where many American children rely on free or reduced lunch programs.
Because a lot of people in America are hungry.
Was it you that was telling me about how like food poverty is like or not food poverty, but like it's a big thing in schools?
It's I think we talked about a few situations with like kids not having enough to eat, and it's like like food insecurity maybe you're talking about.
Yeah.
It is pretty big, especially in the States, in certain areas. It's a huge problem. Like clearly it's a huge problem because we are talking about it a lot because a lot of states are trying to offer, I'm sure some states do offer like free lunches for kids, and some like what they do, I think one of the stories we talked about was like basically because they don't want to only offer it to kids that are lower income,
right? Because
then the kids will get made fun of. There'll be a class divide, and you know how kids are, like they're fucking evil.
I have an interesting thing to say about that after, but
okay.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
So then instead of doing that, they just offer it to everybody, which makes more sense. And that way, and I can't remember exactly what the logistics were, but that's like, and of course, a lot of Republicans don't want that because they don't want to feed kids.
Exactly. Guys, I have to ask you this, though, honestly. Why would anyone be against this? This is a good program. It's a program to get, like, kids are so important for the future and for many other factors.
Because they think that it's up to the parents.
Yeah. But what if the parents can't afford it?
Oh, but they don't think this far.
I know.
They think, they should just get another job.
This brings me again to the point of, and again, I'm not saying all Republicans are against, are what is it?
Pro-life.
Because again, you're saying, hey, we want you to have a kid. We want you to, you're not allowed to, abort or do whatever. You have to have this child.
Yeah.
However, if you can't afford to feed your child or your child is in schools.
Too bad,
so sad. Fuck you.
Tough luck.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's so stupid.
If you can't take care of a child, you should not have gotten pregnant in the first place. So it's on you. That's their mindset.
I know. Like, and it's, oh God, I could just, I know. I can't with this stuff.
I know.
But what
this is the thing. It's like they always talk about kids and oh my God, like, what are we going to do with the kids? And yet they don't want to feed the kids.
Exactly. It's like, again, tying this back to other stories that we talked about, they're talking about like, there was so much controversy about drag queen performers fucking ruining your kids' lives and all this stuff. And yet you're voting against things like
that could
food.
feed kids.
Exactly. And another thing too, which I think is so important, especially for younger children, is like having enough nutrients and stuff as you're growing and developing. It helps you.
It's a huge factor.
Yeah, it's like brain food. It helps your brain develop properly. All of these other things.
Yeah, exactly. The things that happen during your developmental stages, whether it's, with food or just like, family life or friends, it's like so crucial to your adult life.
Yeah. So one thing I was going to say before I go a little bit more into this, because I just saw another quote that I'm just like shocked at.
That somebody said?
Yeah.
Read me the quote, Daniel.
I'll read it to you right after. I want to tell you.
What
I want to tell you the interesting situation. So actually, through a volunteer organization here in Calgary, I actually volunteered last year. I'm going to do it again this year, and it's called brown bagging for kids.
When you do this?
I did this over the summer.
Will you be bagging for kids?
We made lunches.
When you do these?
So we did like baking.
With who?
It was with work. Like we did it all through work and like corporate.
Okay. I was like, I didn't know that. Okay.
We do like Global Volunteer Month.
Cute,
and,
yeah.
Outreach to the community and things like that. So anyway, we did this thing called brown bagging for kids, and it was a really cool program where in Calgary they have a facility that like makes all these lunches for children.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, to that point, how they didn't want like certain kids to know like that they're getting support. Is teachers are the ones that would outline the kids that need this help for the program because they know the kids really well. And then what they do is they actually put the lunches in like brown paper bags.
Yeah. So
or
that
like,
yeah.
So you don't know if it's like someone's mom or dad packed the lunch.
Yeah.
And everything that we were packing, it looked like legit. Like it's not like it was like perfectly wrapped or anything like that.
So how do they distribute it?
So I think it gets sent to the schools and then the teachers maybe
somehow give it to the kids without no one noticing.
I don't really know how it gets distributed at the schools. I just know like the teachers quite often are the ones that So we have those programs here.
Yeah, so that could be doable.
Exactly. But the scary thing is, guys, like again, as we talk about inflation and everything else, I think there's going to be more and more families that need these services. And unfortunately, the reality of it is there ain't enough of these services to go around already.
It's just I know in Korea, like I don't know if this is still a thing, but they like offer like lunches for everyone, and it's probably like a small fee.
Yeah.
But you could do something like that where it's like the parents don't have to worry about the lunch and kids can opt in. But then if you're lower income, maybe it's like
subsidized.
Maybe it's subsidized.
Yeah.
Like there's so many options. Like it's available. And the Korean lunches are really like healthy. They're very like balanced. It's not like here you go to the school cafeteria and it's like French fries.
This is another thing too, how disgusting
this fucking kills me.
I know. Like I was in junior high and I remember, like, don't get me wrong, I was a kid back then and I like love to go in, like occasionally my parents would give me money for lunch, so I'd go to the cafeteria and they would do like grilled cheese sandwiches and like cheeseburgers, hot dogs,
pizza,
French fries, pizza, and I'm like, this is so bad.
It's so bad. And I don't know what it's like now, but I don't think it changed much.
No. And also like all the vending machines in schools. I was thinking about this too. Like there's
chips,
pop, all this stuff. And I'm like, these are young kids. Like these.
Of course they're going to select the chips.
Of course. Like if you have the option between a pear or a fucking banana and a bag of chips as a child, you're going to pick the bag of chips. It tastes
so
better.
Bad.
And it's almost like you're setting kids up for failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're eating like that, when you're young, your taste buds get used to that kind of food.
Yeah.
So then like other food doesn't taste as good because obviously it's like it's designed for it to taste good, right?
Yeah.
It's high in fat, high in sodium, high in sugar. It is like it's tasty.
And what's kind of disgusting about that whole situation is like that those companies like met and had a decision and knew that by putting those products in schools when kids were young, and we had vending machines when I was in junior high. So that's grade 7, 8, 9. When you go into grade 7, you're like what, 12, 13 years old?
You're like 12.
And you have the option to buy pop whenever you want if you have money on you.
I know.
Like that's not okay.
I know.
I don't know.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Ugh. But anyway, so back to this story.
Uh-huh.
So part of the argument of why some of these Republicans were voting against this, they said the administrative costs were really high. And one governor, and I don't know if this is
such bullshit.
I know. One governor is quoted here, and this is the quote that's like ridiculous. She goes, "I don't believe in welfare. This is going to merely add more bureaucracy for families to wade through."
What the fuck does that mean? That doesn't sound like bureaucracy at all.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe in welfare? Fuck off.
So
that's the thing. I hate when people say shit like this because it's like at the end of the day, we all live in a society. We all have to contribute. We all contribute, period. And there are things that are just better for the public good. And this is part of it.
Yeah. Another governor wrote...
Well, read this part. More than 22% of Mississippi's households do not have enough food to eat to maintain a proper diet, according to the recent U.S. Census report. 28% of the children in the state live in poverty. Guys.
Nearly twice as many as the national average.
And this also means, this is another thing with America, right? It's like when you're living in poverty, you have a higher chance of being obese because the food quality that you get is like, the cheaper food is like shittier for you, right?
Yeah.
So like they'll eat like McDonald's. Maybe they have like a $1 per cheeseburger deal, you know?
Yeah.
Compared to if you get like a fucking, what can you get for $1 at the grocery store? Like nothing.
Exactly. Well, and also we talked about this in other episodes, guys. It's like a snowballing effect problem, right? You're in poverty, and then those areas, a lot of the time there'll be what's like classified as like a food desert, where the only options, and think about this when you go to some of these areas, it's like quite often there's not big supermarkets. It's all little like 7-Elevens and all this kind of stuff for super like
and fast food places.
Exactly. And then like all this other stuff. And it's like, in order to go to the grocery store, you have to have a car, or you have to have some form of way of getting there. No one's gonna like hop on a bus and go for hours and grab your groceries and come back. Like, so it's almost like you're setting people up for failure.
Yeah, because the closest thing is a McDonald's.
Exactly. And the McDonald's has their super saver meals or a menu
so
where
it's like, oh, that's what I'm gonna choose.
Exactly.
So, and then like rich people that have no idea are like, well, you know, you're choosing with your health. I'm like, they don't have a choice. Like,
exactly.
Like it's either eat or starve. Like, what are you going to do?
Like, I would like to see what they get when you move them into a community where the nearest grocery store is like a 40-minute walk from your house.
Yeah.
And everything nearby is McDonald's, shitty food, like convenience stores with like limited vegetable options, and the vegetables that the convenience stores have are super expensive.
Yeah. And so they don't have time. Like some of these people are working 2 jobs.
Exactly.
It's bad. It's the system. The system is bad.
It is a systemic
So anyway,
problem.
apparently in Louisiana, 27% of children are living in poverty. And that is a crazy number. So again, all of these kids, it says roughly 600,000 children in the state would benefit from the program.
In Louisiana.
Yeah. And yet people are just, guys, it's so crazy. Again, we're talking about a country that is the world's like biggest economy, the world's richest country in the world.
In terms of GDP.
In terms of GDP. And
we have to remember that.
I know.
That's the biggest thing. Because like.
And yet you can't feed a few kids.
I know. This is what's crazy. This is actually when you think of it in that context, when you look at like any of the charts where they show like different countries' GDP and all this other stuff, like obviously China is beginning to move up there. I know they're second right now, and there's all this talk about when they will surpass the US. They're not there yet though. So the US literally has the biggest economy. They make the most money of any other country in the world, and yet they can't feed their children. They have all of these freaking issues. You have a ton of people living in poverty. Like,
I know.
It just blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind.
It's absolutely crazy. It says that, I guess some of these, when the school year ends, millions of children from households with low incomes lose access to the school meals they rely on. So there's already school meals.
Yeah.
So you already do some kind of charity. It seems you already do some kind of welfare. Why not add in a little bit more so they're not hungry over the summer? I don't understand. And yet they have no problem spending millions of dollars on wars, just fucking all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah.
And yet when feeding kids comes into the picture, nope, they don't want to. It's just, I don't know what kind of psycho, like, I don't understand what goes on in your head.
Well, it's the same country that has apparently President Trump running, or Trump running for president again.
Oh God! After he committed some kind of election fraud.
I know, and I'm like, are you and basically, because I think one of the charges, or one of the things he was kind of in trouble for, if you remember, after he lost, he like ignited like a real rally behind him, and all these people, and he can argue that it's not directly him telling them to go to march on Congress.
Yeah.
But do you remember a bunch of people like went to the White House?
Yeah, it was like a big thing, January 6th or something.
Yeah, and they all like flooded in and were like breaking things and shit. And it's like, you kind of knew what you were doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, so Republicans, a lot of them are evil, clearly, and not pro-life. We talking about the topic?
Goddamn, where it be?
Lord Jesus.
Have you seen this?
Yes. So this is big news. A few days ago, South Africa accused Israel of genocide and demands a UN court. Wait, what was it? Let's see here. So the International Court of Justice began hearing arguments in South Africa's genocide case against Israel on Thursday, setting off the most significant international challenge yet to Israel's war in Gaza. Under international humanitarian law, proving allegations of genocide is incredibly difficult, and even if South Africa does prove that Israel is committing genocide or that it is failing to prosecute incitement to genocide or prevent genocide from occurring, ICJ decisions aren't necessarily easy to enforce. So again, fucking who cares about international law?
I know. This is the thing that used to piss me off, guys. So we're talking about the International Court of Justice, right? So we're saying, okay, first of all, allegations of genocide are really hard to prove. Okay, number one.
Which is fair, I guess.
And then number two, it's like, even if you do prove it and you win in the court of, International Court of Justice, then to enforce it is also really hard. So it's like what the fuck is the point?
Exactly. That means they can't really put people into, they can't actually like charge people. That's what they're saying, right? So basically there's no consequences probably. And that's not surprising, but also it's just like so fucking disheartening.
Yeah, because it says
like how many people have to die for us to be like, okay, maybe someone should be responsible for this?
Exactly. They're not. So even if the court will rule on that issue after hearing arguments, blah 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 blah, though they could rule on like ordering Israel to stop. However, Israel could just ignore that ruling if it's issued. It could make Israel's allies less inclined to support the war.
This is such bullshit though, because US will always support it.
Yeah.
And has always been, and they've never seen any consequences for any of their war crimes. So why the fuck would they think otherwise this time?
I think the big part of it though too, I guess I agree. Like it's almost like it feels like for show. It's almost like and again,
it's definitely for show.
It's like when you talk about like when we talk about the UN and some of the things where the UN will vote for something and be like, oh, we can't do XYZ. But it's like so hard to enforce, and like a lot of the time it will just be like, okay, that's the ruling, but nobody is like enforcing it.
It's just ridiculous. It says South Africa's 84-page application states that the acts and omissions by Israel complained of by South Africa are genocidal in character because they are intended to bring about the destruction of a substantial part of the Palestinian national, racial, and ethnical group. Agreed. In violation of the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. The thing is, anyone that has actually like studied genocide or like understands this convention, they all agree that this is genocide.
Yeah.
This is just the first time it's becoming like a into the court sort of situation. We've been talking about it for months now.
Yeah. I wonder like, isn't it kind of ironic that, I mean, not ironic, but like that South Africa is the one like calling them out?
Well, I think that's why they're calling them out, because South Africa has that history of, I mean, I don't think they had genocide, but they definitely had an apartheid system. Yeah. So I do think that they, after that system ended, right? And there's still a lot of racism in South Africa and stuff, and there's a lot of problems in South Africa, but a lot of that became like a lot more well known because, technically there's apartheid system ended. So I think a lot of people within South Africa are probably very like passionate about this topic because they dealt with it, especially the Black community in South Africa because they were persecuted, right? So I think it's kind of like, it is a bit ironic, but also not ironic at the same time.
You're right, because it says here, it's exactly that. Yeah. Whilst, because it's like, why is South Africa, of all the countries, bringing these charges against Israel, the first to really do this? And it says, while South Africa's filing may not affect the outcome of the war in any meaningful way, it does draw on a long-standing ties between Black South Africans' liberation struggle and that of the Palestinian people. It also signals the country's desire to challenge the U.S.-dominated international order that it sees as unfair to African and non-Western interests, and does so using an internationally respected body.
There you go.
It's significant that South Africa chose to bring these charges before the International Court of Justice, especially given the International Criminal Court is already investigating alleged war crimes committed by both Israel and Hamas stemming from October 7th attacks.
I mean, yeah, I don't think anything will happen because they're right. It's like, the thing is, it is unfair that right now it's like West is best. U.S. dominates everything. Yeah. Whatever U.S. says goes, which is obvious. It's literally the case because they have veto power in the UN.
Exactly.
So literally it's like, if U.S. says no, then, nope, not going to happen.
And also, I think it's because, again, going back to the fact that the U.S. has the largest economy, and the biggest military.
Exactly.
Like, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Nobody wants to stand up against, the big brother, the U.S.
Yeah.
Because they have the power.
Exactly.
Right?
No one's going to challenge them. No one's going to, for better, for worse. It's like they make a decision and...
God, this is making me want to fucking drink.
It's like... Me too. It's like when they... if you guys recall, when... the U.S. had decided to like invade like the Middle East and stuff. There was a whole controversial thing. I mean, not if we recall, but I seem to recall that there was like a UN ruling or something that was like, do not do this, basically.
Yeah, probably.
And the U.S. was like, we're doing it.
And they did it, and they killed millions of people.
Yeah. So.
I know.
And the U.S. is like backing Israel. So.
I mean, it's basically U.S.'s war, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. It's all about political interest. It's all about them maintaining power in the Middle East. And Israel is the ally, and that's what they're going to do. And this is why it just feels so like hopeless, because it's like, I honestly, I'm not going to lie. I've kind of like not fully stopped paying attention. I'm still paying attention.
Yeah.
But I've kind of like taken a little bit of a step back because it's like, it just feels so hopeless. Like no matter how much people are talking about it, like we've been talking about it.
Yeah.
But what's changed?
This is true.
Even South Africa's like literally trying to charge people with committing war crimes.
And it's saying in the article, though, it probably won't do anything.
It won't. I don't think so.
God damn.
And it's just like, this is why I feel like this is why we get older and we become more like bitter and like less like hopeful.
Yeah.
Because like you just realize the reality of the situation. You're like, oh my God, like when you're younger, when you're like in like university, this is why university students are really passionate, right? They're like, they want to change the world.
Yeah.
They want to protest. They want to do all this stuff. And then you just get older and you realize nothing fucking changes.
Yeah.
Like, and that sounds so sad. Like, yes, maybe
things do change. That's a bit dark, Rose.
Maybe it's a bit too dark.
Yeah.
Things do change, but like, do they really?
I know. And I think the big challenging thing is, I think as we see, we have these organizations or things that have been put together over the years to kind of help, maintain order and to help like global cooperation and all this stuff. And really at the end of the day, it's like, even to this article, the fact that the International Court of Justice, even if charges are put up against a country, they say it's really hard to prove. It's hard to blah, 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 blah. Fair enough. And then even if the charges are made,
it's still hard to
it's hard to enforce. And I'm like, well, okay, then what is the point? What is the point of these bodies?
What's the point?
But again, it's like people are like, oh, these are things that we put in place and they're super passionate, and then it's like in reality,
it's such bullshit.
The
thing is, if it was a different country or different people doing this crime, it would be much easier to enforce, guaranteed. But it's because it's Israel and the United States, and they're so powerful that that they can't enforce it. Like, guaranteed. Like, if it was any other country that's not powerful, it'd be a fucking piece of cake.
I know.
Okay? It's all about who maintains the power and who has the power and who has the money and who has the resources, which is the United States of America.
Anyway.
And
on that positive note, guys.
There has to be a happier ending. Let me see if there's any TikToks I want to talk about.
Rose, we don't live in a fantasy world.
No, I want to live in a fantasy world. Well,
guys, fun fact, while Rose is looking up a story, I decided to relive my childhood this weekend. And
what do you do this weekend?
Because it was so cold in Calgary. It was like minus like fucking 35 the whole weekend. So you couldn't really go outside. So
we got an emergency alert
for power shortages or power
because
blackouts.
I guess the thing is, because it's so cold, it was like minus 35. Everyone's at home and everyone's like blasting their heat. Fucking we're all watching TV. We're all like doing stuff at home. Yeah. Maybe we got heaters on,
space heaters,
and then we all got this like alert that was like emergency. There's a risk of a power outage.
Yeah,
turn off your blah blah blah. So
because if you think about it, like during the day or during different periods of the day, people are going to turn down, like when I'm not at home, my heat's a lot lower. Like it's like around 18. And then when I get home, I put it up to like 21, 22.
I don't know how you do that. Are you turn?
Mm-hmm. But that's not it's when I'm not home.
Like when you're not home, like during the day.
Yeah. Like when I'm not home.
Oh, see, the thing is, oh God, that's so cold.
No, but it's like,
I know you're not home, but then like it takes so long for my place to heat up though.
Oh, see, mine is like as soon as I turn the heating on, it like heats up within like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. So mine's not like that. So that's why I can't put my heat that low.
But like, again, just thinking of that, like there's a lot of people that do that where they're not home, they keep their heating lower, and then when they're home, they turn it up. So is
that better though? Do you think? For like you do it for the like energy benefits,
Yeah,
right?
it's like energy saving.
Like, do you think it's better?
I
Because
think
then
so.
doesn't it take more energy to heat up the room?
Yeah, but I also think to maintain a higher temperature, like 22 or 23
Yeah.
for several hours, is going to
Right.
consume more energy than. I could be wrong, guys. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I
But
wonder.
conceptually, I think it does save. And I think having everybody home, though, and getting that emergency warning kind of proved that, because everyone's at home blasting their heat.
Yeah, but like there's a difference between, 21 degrees and like 25 degrees. And
Who'd be putting their heat up to 25?
well, when it's fucking minus 35 outside, maybe the thing is like it's never like exactly we've noticed like when we were in my house and it was 21 degrees technically on my thermostat, but it felt a lot colder
Cold as
because it was
hell.
really cold outside. So it's not always, it's not going to be like 21 degrees in the house. You know what I'm saying? So like when it's cold outside, it's going to feel a lot colder. So sometimes I have to turn it up to like right now mine's at, I think at like 23, which normally that's too hot. But right now it doesn't feel too hot because it's cold outside. So that's what I mean. So I think people are like probably blasting it more.
Right.
And it takes a lot more energy to heat up the room to that temperature because it's minus 35 outside.
Right. And it doesn't. And it also to maintain it, it takes a lot.
Exactly.
Too, because it's so cold
freezing
outside.
outside. Like the amount of energy that it would take to
and the heat being lost.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh.
So then I think that's the difference, right? So like that day specifically, I mean, today's a bit warmer, but
it isn't. It was like minus 14 and I was like, ooh, it's quite nice. I
know today I was like, oh my God, it's minus 20. And I'm like walking outside and I'm like, oh my God, it's so nice.
Yeah.
I was like in such a good mood. I was like, oh, it's like so, I was like, it's literally minus 21 and I'm like so happy.
Yeah.
It brings that, it's perspective, Daniel.
It
I
is
made a story about it.
God damn.
I said, this is a life lesson. When things are difficult, remember, it could always be worse.
It could always be
That's
worse.
not the lesson. The lesson is you go through hard things, and then the benefit of going through the hard thing is that later, when things get better, it's going to make everything else better.
God damn. I love
like
it, Rose.
minus 21 felt amazing, but if it was minus 21 randomly after being like plus 10, I'd be like, fuck this shit.
This is true. It's all about perspective.
It's all about perspective. And on that actual positive note.
No, wait. I want to tell everyone what I did
goddamn.
to relive my
Oh
childhood.
yeah. Well, what did you do?
So me and my friend went to the wave pool.
You did not go to the wave
We
pool.
100% went to the wave pool.
Which one?
There's one it's like in the far northeast.
What's it called?
Village Square. They have like the Thunder Run and all the water slides.
Is that the same thing as? It's not the YMCA, is that?
No, it's not.
Oh my God.
So we went to the wave pool. We went to the hot tub, sauna.
Is it nice?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's.
Is it for children?
I mean, it's funny because I used to go there when I was a kid, so it was very nostalgic.
Oh, like
Both
you went
of
to
us
that
did.
specific one.
Yeah. So both of us
Oh.
did, and we went in there and we're like, oh my God, this is bringing back so many memories. And they've like changed a lot. Like they've removed some slides and.
It's been years, Daniel. It's been years. I had to break it to you, but
it's definitely like an older facility. Like it needs a little bit of a. But honestly, it was so
oh,
cute.
that's so cute.
We went swimming in the waves. We did like laps and we're racing each other. And,
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was super fun. So
that's adorable. That's definitely something you could do. For a random. You know what? I actually saw like a video, and it was like a TikTok of this girl that went to West Edmonton Mall. They have
the water park. Yeah,
the water park, and I was like, you know what?
I've never been.
You've never been. You've never been to West Edmonton Mall?
I've been to West Edmonton Mall,
Okay.
of course, but
So
I've never been to the
guys,
water park.
West Edmonton Mall. So Edmonton is the city that is in our province. It's north of us.
Yep.
And it's our province's capital, even though we have more people here.
Yep.
And we are technically
It's our
better.
rival city.
It's our rival city. And to this day, that's the only thing that really Edmonton has. Let's be real.
People, Edmontonians
I know
will
Edmontonians
disagree.
will hate me, but I mean that's the main like attraction,
Mm.
right? Like
Yeah.
at least here, like in Calgary, I'm not gonna say like Calgary itself is like fine, whatever, but like we're near the mountain, so that would be our kind of like attraction, like outside of Calgary is our attraction.
Yeah.
But West Edmonton Mall for years it was like the biggest mall. Was it the world?
I think in North America.
Anyways, it was like one of the biggest malls in the world, maybe the biggest mall in North America, whatever it was. And it has like a fucking ice rink. It has a water park with like a wave pool and water slides.
Yeah.
It's got like, I don't know.
It's got a themed roller coaster park as well.
It has a fucking literal like what is it called? Amusement park.
Amusement park.
Yeah, and it has like all this stuff. So like sometimes like some of us here would go. I'm surprised you haven't been there.
No, I have. I've been to the amusement park.
Oh, right. You haven't been to the water park.
I've been to the amusement park before.
Right.
I've gone shopping there. there. Like it's a huge ass mall.
They've got like a fucking like a penguin show, which I fucking hate.
Yeah.
that
They used to have
it there.
dolphins there
That's so fucked up.
inside because they have like an aquarium part as well.
Yeah, they have like an aquarium, which
Yeah.
I mean that part should be gone.
I think it is gone.
Okay, good.
But they still have like the water there, but it's like not an aquarium anymore. I don't think. Or maybe they just have fish in there. I'm not sure. Or something.
Oh my god.
But I did go skating there as well before, so
Yeah.
I've done things there. I
Yeah,
just like haven't done the water park.
But the water park's the best part.
I know. I really want to go. Maybe I'll go.
We should go one day. Just do a little road trip to Edmonton. Fun time.
Check out the vegan food there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they supposedly have pretty good vegan food there.
Goddamn, let's go.
So there you go. We'll go to Edmonton one day, guys. Let us know if you're from Edmonton and we just fucking dissed your city.
Oh God.
But it's normal. It's just in our nature, you know?
Exactly.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know down below if you're watching on YouTube. Just leave a little comment. Let us know what you think of this episode. If you have anything to say about any of the stories.
Comment.
Yeah, and if you would go on the world's largest cruise.
God damn.
And we would judge you for it, but you can let us know. Maybe we're missing something about the cruise
I think we
life.
might be. Yeah.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram and on TikTok.
Yep.
And of course, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/TheSaVeg for the bonus content, the early episodes, and ad-free content. What else, Daniels?
And also on your favorite podcast platform, click that follow because then you're updated as soon as a new episode goes live.
Yeah.
All
All right,
right,
guys. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.